Abhimanyu and Yug, standing tall in front of the ominous graveyard Kothi, felt a chill run down their spines. It's a sight that would make anyone's hair stand on end. A two-storied mansion, painted gray, surrounded by vast vacant lands. The sky above them was a swirling mass of dark clouds, creating an atmosphere that would not be out of place in a horror movie. Abhimanyu, with a shiver in his voice, began to share the history of the graveyard Kothi. He painted a vivid picture of the British over 200 years ago, constructing a building over sacred land, facing resistance from the locals due to their sacrilegious consumption of sacred animals. The land, initially deemed a resting place for the dead, eventually became the foundation for the graveyard Kothi. As Abhimanyu finished the tale, Yug chimed in with a surprising revelation. The eerie mansion in front of them, he explained, was once owned by his ancestors, purchased from the British. The revelation added a personal touch to the haunting atmosphere, linking Yug's past to the mysteries they were about to unravel. The duo approached the locked door of the mansion, the rusted lock a testament to years of neglect. As they stood there, a mysterious woman's laughter echoed around them, sending a shiver down their spines. Dismissing his fear, Yug reached into his bag and pulled out a key, the only possible way to unlock the secrets that lay within the mansion. As Yug inserted the key into the lock, the laughter grew louder, almost as if the mansion itself was mocking their attempts to enter. Yug turned the key, but in a cruel twist of fate, the key snapped, leaving them standing puzzled and stranded outside the eerie mansion. The key snapped in the lock, leaving them puzzled and stranded outside the eerie mansion. A woman's voice echoed around them, urging them to break the lock. The voice was feminine, soft, and enticing, yet it sent a chill down their spines. Yug, who had always been a rationalist, found himself influenced by the mysterious, disembodied voice. He didn't question the source of the voice, nor did he ponder why it was aiding them. He just reacted. Yug grabbed a nearby stone, its rough edges biting into his palms. His heart pounded in his chest as he lifted the stone high above his head. With a final look at Abhimanyu, he smashed the stone down onto the rusted lock. The sound of metal hitting stone echoed through the stillness, followed by the sharp crack of the lock breaking. As the lock fell apart, a sudden scream sliced through the quiet night. It was a woman's scream, filled with an eerie mix of joy and terror, and it seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Yug and Abhimanyu froze, their eyes wide in shock and fear. But before they could react, the sky opened up, and a sudden downpour started. Rain pounded down on them, soaking them to the bone in seconds. The door of the graveyard Kothi swung open slowly, creaking ominously on its rusty hinges. Yug and Abhimanyu exchanged a glance, their expressions a mirror of each other's apprehension. Despite the fear gnawing at them, they stepped inside the Kothi. The interior was as eerie as the exterior, filled with shadows and echoes of a past long gone. They could hear their own heartbeats thudding in their ears, drowning out the sound of the rain outside. As soon as they were inside, the door creaked closed behind them, shutting out the outside world. They were now trapped inside the Kothi, with nothing but the mysterious voice and their own fears for company. The rain continued to pound on the roof, providing a chilling soundtrack to their unfolding adventure. They stepped inside, the door creaking closed behind them, and the rain pounding on the roof. Inside the mansion, they found a halogen bulb still functioning after 13 years of closure. This discovery, shrouded in mystery, sent a chill down their spines. A bulb, glowing unattended for over a decade, was a sight that gave the eeriness of the mansion a whole new dimension. Yug, the ever-rational engineer, attempted to explain this peculiar phenomenon. He speculated that the local electricity department might have been too scared of Yakshini to ever venture into the area. This fear could have prevented them from disconnecting the power supply to the mansion. Yug's explanation, while logical, had a tinge of humor to it. The idea of a paranormal entity scaring off the electricity department was indeed amusing, if not downright bizarre. Abhimanyu, on the other hand, remained suspicious. His experience with the supernatural had taught him not to dismiss any oddity, no matter how trivial it seemed. He eyed the glowing bulb with a sense of unease. wondering if it was a sign from the other side. The bulb, steadily glowing in the otherwise dark mansion, seemed like a beacon calling out to the unseen. Their conversation about the halogen bulb was interrupted by a sudden flicker of the light. For a moment, the light dimmed, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls of the mansion. This unexpected change in the bulb's intensity added another layer of suspense to their already nerve-wracking exploration. As the bulb continued to flicker, Yug and Abhimanyu were left in a state of heightened anticipation. Each flicker, each shadow cast by the bulb seemed to be telling a story of the mansion's past, a story that was as enigmatic as the bulb itself. The flickering halogen bulb, a symbol of the mansion's eerie past, continued to light their path as they ventured deeper into the mansion. The light flickered, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls of the mansion. The sight was chilling and thrilling, setting the stage for the mysteries yet to be unveiled. The mansion, once a symbol of colonial power, now stood as a haunted echo of its past. Its grey, weather-beaten walls held stories of a time long gone, and perhaps of the spectral presence Abhimanyu was so eager to meet. As they ventured inside, the scent of damp, rotting wood filled their nostrils. Dusty old portraits adorned the walls, their subjects' eyes seeming to follow Yug and Abhimanyu as they moved. The mansion was a time capsule, filled with remnants of a bygone era. Old letters, antique furniture, and faded photographs were scattered around. Each item, a silent witness to the mansion's history, held a tale of its own. As Yug picked up a dusty old photograph, he couldn't help but wonder about the people in it. Were they just ordinary folks, or did they have a connection to the Yakshini? Meanwhile, Abhimanyu was engrossed with his paranormal device. His eyes were glued to the screen, eagerly waiting for a sign. The device, he explained, could pick up electromagnetic disturbances, often associated with paranormal activity. As they moved from room to room, the device remained silent, much to Abhimanyu's disappointment. As they ventured deeper into the mansion, the atmosphere grew heavy. Yug could feel a chill run down his spine while Abhimanyu's device remained eerily silent. Suddenly they stumbled upon a locked door. The door was old and the paint was chipping off, but it held a certain allure. They couldn't help but wonder what lay beyond it. Abhimanyu tried his device once more, hoping to catch a signal. This time, something was different. The device started to beep wildly, indicating a presence nearby. Their hearts pounded in their chests. The eerie silence of the mansion was broken by the echoing beep of the device. As they stood there, in the heart of the haunted mansion, they knew they were not alone. Suddenly the beeping stopped, and all was silent. Yug and Abhimanyu stood frozen, the eerie silence wrapping around them like a cold winter's night. The halogen bulb flickered ominously, casting long, dancing shadows on the dilapidated walls of graveyard Kothi. The silence was so profound that they could hear the soft, rhythmic thumping of their hearts, beating like the soft patter of raindrops on a tin roof. As they stood there, their breath fogging up in the cold, a gentle wind started to blow, rustling the dry leaves scattered on the ancient wooden floor. The wind was icy cold, sending a shiver down their spines. The sensation was akin to a spectral hand gliding over their skin, the chill reaching right down to their bones. Then, out of this silence came a sound. It was soft, barely audible, like a whisper in the wind. It was a woman's voice, singing a lullaby. The voice was hauntingly beautiful, echoing through the empty corridors of the mansion. It was a melody from a time long forgotten, a song that lulled children to sleep and comforted the weary souls. Drawn to the voice like moths to a flame, Yug and Abhimanyu treaded lightly, following the voice. Their footsteps echoed in the empty corridors, the sound bouncing off the walls and intertwining with the soft melody. The voice guided them, leading them down a long, winding hallway. At the end of this hallway, they found a door. It was an old, rotting wooden door, its paint peeling off, revealing the dark wood beneath. They stood in front of the door, the voice now closer. The singing was soft, soothing yet eerily enchanting. As they reached out to open the door, the singing stopped abruptly, and the mansion plunged into darkness. The sudden silence was deafening, the darkness all-consuming, leaving Yug and Abhimanyu standing in the pitch-black hallway, their hands still outstretched towards the door. The cliffhanger leaves them, and us, wondering what lies behind the door.